Alright, I'm curious about it. This video by this guy named Maury apparently claims that this male TikToker was allegedly exposed for sexual assault of some capacity. It seems pretty fucked up, so let's go.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, massive crazy stories today. Looks like ScottyKFitness, popular TikToker who's in the fitness industry, just got exposed.
Wow, I would have never guessed that from somebody who was naming themselves a fitness coach.
For SA in his former life before changing his name.
It's terrible. Let's see how bad it gets, I guess.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just gotta say that I am not shocked in the least. I will say allegedly though, for legal and liability reasons, as I do not want to get sued. However, I will be showing you this video here from creator Goob2, who did a little investigation into Scotty in his former life as a security guard or police officer at some college campus where he was allegedly creeping on some of the girls. And in another situation where he allegedly grabbed a woman by her neck and forced her head towards his crotch. I know, shocking.
Oh, that's it's pretty bad
Stuff. Let's get into it.
So there's one problem with being famous, but in your past life, you were a huge piece of shit. No matter what you think you've changed, or no matter how you've tried to alter your appearance or maybe your name, you can never outrun the shit that you did.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty terrible stuff. Is that the reason why he was let go from working as a security guard on said college campus?
ScottyKFitness, also known as Matt Kramer. Welcome to the show.
So Matt Kramer.
Oh, so Matt Kramer is his real name, but ScottyKFitness, I guess, is like a alias that he uses for the internet?
Was his original name before he changed it to Scotty. And the running theory is that, well, he had a regular job in 2020 of which he departed from, blew up 5 years later, knew that this case was still out there, this information was out there, panicked and knew that he had to change that name or else the inevitable would happen. And by the way, before we go in,
well, I mean, it definitely seems suspicious that he would have to change his name. It's the same reason why that, there was somebody that was, like, exposed for sexual assault on, like, a campus back in, like, what is it, 2015, 2016? And, like, he had to, like, change his name. It's Brock something. I don't remember his name. But, like, he basically, like, he got, like, a slap on the wrist. He only got jail for, like, 2 years, and then he was able to change his name legally and still live in the real world just fine or whatever.
Further, I just gotta say, he did it to himself. Again, he went on to dox a random ass commenter making fun of his mustache and saying he looked like the gay guy from Ozark, and another guy for making fun of his mustache, and then he mocked.
Well, I mean, like I said, that mustache do be looking like it kind of looks like a caterpillar. I ain't gonna lie, like, it's a pretty rough mustache. I would have shaved it just a little bit.
And basically saying that's why you're paralyzed from the chest down. Like, guy, you made a mountain out of a molehill, you dissected and doxed other people, and now the same thing is happening to you, and your career is pretty much done.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if ScottyKFitness, this guy seemed like he was a, maybe like he's like red pilled or something. I don't know. Because that's what a lot of these like fitness coaches are, is, like at the most charitable you can be to some of them is that they just have toxic masculine traits. But then they could take that even further and then be like legitimately red-pilled. I know some people think that there's not a difference between the two. There is a difference between the two. You know, I would say being red-pilled is worse than having some toxic masculine traits.
He's made headlines recently for just kind of being a douchebag. He made fun of a disabled person, he got canceled, Rise let him go. But I'm here to tell you, he's going to relish and miss the times when we were shitting on him for just that. Because Scotty has a dirty secret. You see, this safe space on his bio is quite misleading. Because
safe space. I thought it was a safe space for like LGBTQ people with like a rainbow on his like profile or whatever.
Scotty was actually born Matthew Scott Kramer. This is his birth certificate.
And as you can see here, the document that Goob is showing on screen, it says in the district court and for Tulsa County, state of Oklahoma, of which he is from, it says in the matter of the application of Matthew Scott Kramer for a change of name to Scotty Knox Flynn. So he basically changed his entire name and kept some variation of his middle name, Scott, and used it as Scotty, as to avoid detection from any documents or personal records relating to his old life. Very, very sneaky on your part, Scotty.
Now, Scotty, also known as Matt, told the judge that he was changing his name because he didn't like his family's name and wanted to change it for that reason. But I have a different theory as to why Scotty changed his name to Scotty from Matt. And it has to do with this complaint filed against him in the ongoing investigation that occurred for when he was an officer at a school.
Okay, I think this would be important to read. Chief of Police, so this is like some kind of complaint that was filed. Transparency statement. On May 25th, 2021. I thought it was 2020. Whatever. It's like 2 different years, I guess. I don't know. Police Chief Melvin Murdoch directed me to conduct an internal investigation on Officer Matt Kramer. That it had been deemed inappropriate for the MC Captain Mike Eubanks to conduct this investigation. That there was a conflict of interest concerning the investigator, Drew Mullinex, conducting the investigation. Personal involvement with complainant, is that the word? Investigative notices, complaints against departments. So this document's kind of vague. I mean, it proves that like something definitely was reported, but this doesn't really give me a lot of details as to the extent of the sexual assault. Now, granted, you know, obviously, based off what I'm hearing, right, him as a security guard, like, obviously there's going to be, like, a power dynamic with, like, him and the woman, right? So, like, he can abuse that power dynamic by pretty much saying, hey, I'm a security guard and you need to do this for me or whatever, and he can, like, abuse that power dynamic in his position of authority to try to make her do stuff that she shouldn't do. So that is probably going to be a conversation as well, likely here.
You see, Mr. Safe Space was an officer at a school. However, he was allegedly telling students that he started an OnlyFans.
Okay, hold on. Apparently this, like, screen changed. On June 1st, 2021, I spoke with Lieutenant Blank, and she was informed of my receipt of the complaint, and an investigation was being initiated. Investigation of complaints, yada, yada, yada. Okay, whatever. Investigative scope, police policy, professional conduct, complaints, and discipline 101C. Conduct unbecoming an officer. Officers and employees are expected to behave and act as any prudent person in their same position would be expected to act and behave. Engaging in inappropriate conversations to or could be heard by officers, faculty, staff, and students. The type letter reads that Officer Kramer used offensive language from December 2020 until present. This letter was not signed. Officer Kramer allegedly made inappropriate statements about a newscaster saying he wanted to stick it in her butt. Officer Kramer allegedly shared information about his past sexual experiences with his ex-girlfriend spoke to TCC employees about his past relationship and cheating on his wife 35 times. This guy sounds like a fucking asshole. How do you cheat on your wife 35 times and, like, you're proud of it? That's crazy. Kramer was also on Facebook trying to find a female student that he has seen in the academic building that wasn't wearing a bra. Kramer allegedly spoke with a female student life employee about him starting an OnlyFans account for extra money and made an inappropriate statement about a female student that was walking about 25 feet in front of him. Jesus Christ, yeah. I mean, I could see why after hearing these complaints or, like, after... Like, I could see the college maybe being like, or the university being like, hey, yeah, we don't want this guy working for us anymore. It's pretty unprofessional, and we trust our security to enforce the campus policies and all that, and this guy does not reflect that. So I could see why the university would fire him. That makes a lot of sense to me.
For extra money and made inappropriate statements about females that were walking 25 feet in front of him.
That is crazy. I just gotta say, holy Scott is actually cooked. He's fried. Chicken fried rice stirred fried.
Okay. A little bit inappropriate from the video creator here.
With a hot ass walk and all. So in this
God, alright.
document that I'm quickly gonna go through, it says on June.
Oh my god, does he go through it anyways? Oh my fucking god, I always do that shit. Like, I read through the document, and then, like, the fucking video creator winds up reading it anyways.
June 1st, 20...
Like, I usually don't read shit from Internet Versus, because Internet Versus typically, like, reads through it, and I can just chill and relax. But, like, this is, whatever.
21, I spoke with Censored, and she was informed of my receipt of the complaint and that an investigation was being initiated, so I'm going to assume this may be the victim here or someone, a coworker, who knows. Additionally, it says investigation of complaints. The investigators shall contact...
Well, no, the lieutenant wouldn't be a victim. It would just be like a fellow security guard that might have heard about the complaints potentially, as we read later in the document that you're showing us now.
The complainant and inform them that they are beginning an investigation into the complaint and to obtain any further information if needed. And it says investigative scope, police policy, professional conduct and complaints and discipline. 1. Conduct unbecoming of an officer. Officers' employees are expected to behave and act as any prudent person in their same position would be expected to act and behave, of which Scotty was not. And they say under the scope of this investigation, he was engaging in inappropriate conversations to or could be heard by other officers, faculty, staff, or students. They also say the typed letter read that Officer Kramer used offensive language from December 2020 until present day. This letter was not signed. Officer Kramer allegedly made inappropriate statements about a newscaster by saying he wanted to, and I quote, sticking it in her butt, end quote. Officer Kramer...
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty tough, dude. You know, anal sex can be a little bit messy, man. I don't know why you'd be making that known.
Allegedly shared...
He's trying to make it known that, like, a chili dog is something that he wants.
Information about his past, sexual experiences with his ex-girlfriend, and spoke to TCC employees about his past relationships and cheating on his wife 35 times. Wow, Scotty, you're a naughty guy. Kramer was also on Facebook trying to find a female student that he seen in the academic building that wasn't wearing a bra. Oh boy. Again, very naughty, Scotty. Kramer allegedly spoke with a female student life employee about him starting an OnlyFans account for extra money and made an inappropriate statement about a female student that was walking about 25 feet in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, as I've already said, it's pretty clear to me that this guy should not be working at the university whatsoever. This guy seems a little bit sussy.
So yeah, buddies. Again.
Now, granted, there's nothing, I guess, technically that's illegal about any of this, but even based off of the information that I'm hearing, this guy is not only extraordinarily immature, but this guy is also very, very weird and, like, gross, and I personally, if I was, like, running a university, I wouldn't be comfortable having this guy work for me after finding out about all this information. The most damning part is the allegations where he, like, forced a student to, you know, move her head towards his crotch or whatever. That seems to be pretty bad as well.
Again, another performative male down. So much for that safe space, huh?
Pause and
crazy.
hold to read this, but
It's always the leftist men, guys.
even his fellow officers all say that he makes them uncomfortable and that he says multiple and many off-color things about females in the presence of the other officers. And this is such a big problem that it made its way into an investigation and a complaint lodged against him.
And I'm going to read this part of the document here as well. It says here, me. So whoever I suppose is writing this document says, can you tell me about Officer Kramer and any of the issues that you may be aware of? And then Eubanks says, young Officer Kramer came to us in September, has a lot of rough edges. Probably the biggest issue Officer Kramer has is his inability to not talk.
So basically he's saying that he shouldn't, he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. Damn, it's like Just a Robot if he was like a chud, basically. A fucking alpha male fitness coach, Just a Robot. That is like the worst amalgamation I think I've ever even conceived in a reaction video.
So basically, he talks too much. I've heard his fellow officers, his co-workers, complain about some of the comments he makes in their presence. The comments are off-color type comments that are not directed towards the officers, but directed towards faculty, staff, and students. I'm not sure. They haven't been made in my presence, obviously, but it causes them concern, and they have voiced those concerns. And guys, if your fellow male officers are getting to the point to where they're that uncomfortable to where they report you, which a lot of male officers, you know, through locker room talk, you know, guys, we make edgy jokes all the time. If you're that type of guy to where other guys have to now report you, then buddy, you know you're doing too much. It also says Lieutenant Blank and I have talked about it, and we have been watching very closely, have been advising the officers if they see anything or they have any faculty, staff, or student that are upset to the point that they wish to make a complaint, to let us know, and we would field the inaudible due to BWC beeping. So
whoa, BWC? That's fucking crazy.
They censored something here.
Is that you, Turkey Tom?
And we would get it all documented. So they were having a low-key investigation into Scotty without him even knowing, basically. And then later...
Yeah, I remember, this kind of like weirdly reminds me, during my senior year of high school, I had a gym teacher. He was like a older black guy who looked like he was in his like mid to late 30s at the very least. He was very sus. He made a lot of like inappropriate, like, I remember when one of my friends, she was in like the locker room, he made a gesture to her from a distance, like a call me gesture. Very fucking sus and inappropriate. I think that would freak anyone out. And then the whatchamacallit, one of the students had I don't know, like, I think there was another time where he was, like, uncomfortably close to one of the students, like, physically close to them when they were playing volleyball in such a way that was, like, very unnecessary, almost in, like, a very perverted way. I can't really fully describe it here. It's a little bit uncomfortable to think about in hindsight. But, I remember the fucking school's response at first was just, moving his lunch break to, our period. Oh, yeah, that's totally gonna solve the issue. But eventually, I think after a while, I did hear that behind the scenes he did get arrested. So the police probably found something on his phone. I wouldn't doubt it.
At the bottom part of this document from the person writing or within this...
This kind of reminds me of this story very, very vaguely.
Recorded interview. It says me. Based on...
I guess minus the sexual assault, because I haven't heard any stories of sexual assault with him. Anyways, yeah.
The information you have, are they kind of a sexual content? Then Eubanks says yes. It's kind of off-color towards female students or staff. Again, I'm not sure it's where Officer Kramer apparently sees somebody walking and while in the presence of another officer makes some kind of comment about that female. Okay. And guys, apparently this all happened at the Tulsa Community College Metro Campus.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, so I've never heard of this community college. Then again, Oklahoma is such an alien state to me that I don't know. I've never seen much from Oklahoma, apart from the Stillwater, Oklahoma stories with Jesse Butler. I've covered that story extensively if you guys want to know more about the Jesse Butler stuff on the channel. Yeah, Tulsa Community College. Wow, okay.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, where...
Man, why are all the fucking... Can I just say, why are all the weirdos from Oklahoma? Like, we got Jesse Butler and now this fucking security guard who rebranded and re-identified as like a, TikTok coach, but then he had like his weird fucking past exposed.
Where Scotty is apparently from.
This investigation was eventually closed, and it was closed because Scotty just quit. It says here that he was so pissed off that they were questioning him that he just said, "I quit," and left. And then about 4 or 5 years...
That definitely doesn't scream, oh my god, he's innocent. Yeah, that totally, definitely doesn't scream that he's guilty or anything.
Years later, he got really popular on social media and probably thought, damn, that's out there. People know who Matt Kramer is. Gotta change my name. Unfortunately, the bad stories about Matt don't stop there. This is a personal account from a woman that met him at a jiu-jitsu gym. She personally testified that he...
Okay, so this is apparently the woman. I don't know much about this. Yes, told me multiple times with his military background that he can have me killed and no one would know he was connected. Oh, jeez, that's not good. I'm a female jiu-jitsu instructor that helps out with women's self-defense seminars, and to test me, he held me down by my throat, and he told me he could kill me right then, and it would be easy for him to get away with it because of his police back. Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck?
He held her down by her throat.
I really do believe that this guy is like super red-pilled. Like, honestly, I wouldn't doubt it at all.
and told her how he could kill her right there and it would be easy for him to get away with it because of his police background.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, another performative male down. I just gotta say, why are performative males who legit pander for a living and claim to have safe spaces and to be champions of women's rights always caught with a history of either SA or abuse or both against women? The same ones they're
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know if the sexual assault claim is true necessarily because I don't have enough to definitively say it's true, but I do have enough to say that this guy is definitely like a weird fucking creep, and I certainly wouldn't feel safe around him. And honestly, I wouldn't doubt these sexual assault claims, to be honest with you, based off of everything I've heard so far. But I mean, again, that one is like still kind of up in the air. I'm not like fully willing to subscribe to that just yet. Again, it definitely is leaning in the direction that it probably happened. I just need a little bit more before I am fully comfortable running that narrative.
Championing for. I mean, it's got to be some kind of projection, right? Some kind of compensation, overcompensation to try and come off as the...
I guess to be fair, though, like, if he's not going to care about a woman's boundaries by, like, grabbing her by the throat and saying, I could kill you right here and right now and no one would know about it, if he's not going to care about a woman's boundaries in that regard, who's to say he's going to care about a woman's boundaries when it comes to anything sexual? So I guess that's, like, probably a fair point, honestly. It definitely leans towards the fact that he did sexually assault somebody.
Good guy, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. Let me know.
I don't know if you guys qualify that as a safe space, but I certainly don't. Well, Scotty, it looks like you have something else to make a groveling bullshit apology video for. But let's be real. You've been sitting in that chair all week wondering when we would find this shit. Time to see yourself out of the fitness industry, buddy. Your shit's cooked.
Well, shout out to Rise for dropping him and, you know, taking the right approach by not risking their brand with a person like this. Like, hey, honestly, I can't say I'm shocked. And now people are saying the Scotty files are coming out. What am I missing? What happened? This you with a, wow, dropping of this court document, or not court document, but the document from the college campus in Oklahoma. Someone else said the people who act the nicest always got the worst secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of leftist men do it just to sleep with a lot of leftist women. That does seem to be kind of the meta with a lot of leftist men.
We've, time and time again, that's been proven right. I'm Alex for one. Someone else said Scotty.
Oh yeah, I'm Alex was like legitimately a disgusting, abusive piece of shit. And to be fair, I'm Alex definitely had it coming to him for a while because he was responsible for several false allegations towards several people. And he got his own very serious and very credible allegations levied against him.
Files before they released the Epstein files. I don't know. I think they literally just dropped it like a few days ago. Another person said he was one of my favorite creators. Such a disappointment. Shake my head. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say stop investing all your emotional investment in any creator. You don't know these people. As a creator myself, who's engaged with many creators behind the scenes, I'm telling you, stop doing that. Honestly, your best bet is just to, you know, if you like their content, support the merch, the music, or whatever else. Keep it at that. Keep it base level. And that's that. That's it. It is what it is. And
yeah, hot take, guys. Don't fuel parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships are bad. Hot take.
Especially for guys like this who overcompensate with the whole nice guy act or the whole championing.
Bro, I don't know if I would call him a nice guy, especially with that fucking mustache. That doesn't seem too nice to me. Like, it seems like rough. You know, imagine being a woman getting with this guy and trying to make out with him. Bro, you would have like a whole fucking weasel on your lips every single time.
For the current popular thing act, listen, bro, you already know the red flags. You see it time and time again. It is what it is. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Thoughts and opinions down below. The grift continues. Scotty, farewell. Adios. Hasta luego, buddy.
That's pretty fucking crazy stuff. Wow. Alright, I'm recording this the day after I'm recording the first half of this video because I was unaware that ScottyKFitness, I think 3 or 4 days before the time of me recording this, actually released a response to some of these allegations. Seemingly, it's like 16 and a half minutes long, so I guess we'll take a look at it and see what we've got going on here because I'm sure there's a lot to break down, so...
Okay, let's address all of the controversy all at once. This is going to be a very long video, so hold up here or somewhere for 2 times speed.
Hey man, listen, that's why we're here. We're reacting to the slop at the end of the day. I do it so most people don't have to.
Starting out, did I respond to a hateful comment with hate and making fun of somebody who is a paraplegic? Yes.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, okay. I mean, that's not good. I would say that's peanuts compared to some of the things you're accused of, such as, like, forcing a girl, allegedly, I should say, because I don't know if it's true at all, but, like, grabbing a girl's head and then pushing it down on your crotch and then, like, making a bunch of, like, weird, unprofessional comments at your job, and then them letting you go. I would say those are the more serious allegations. This situation seems kind of silly. I would say it's not good that you made fun of someone like that. Some could interpret you making fun of someone for being paraplegic as a low blow more than anything else.
For that, Cody, I am sorry.
Fair enough, I guess. I don't know if people care necessarily about that part of the allegations, though, but okay.
Did I receive a comment stating that I look like the gay uncle from the Ozark television show? Yep. Which is true and objectively hilarious.
Sure, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I don't know why you're even responding to this if you weren't offended by it to begin with.
And from that comment, I made a video where people have redacted information to make it seem as if I have doxed this person. I gave this person's name, profile photo, place of employment, and how long he worked there, state that he lived in, birth month, birth year, and 3 random first names.
Well, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it sounds to me like you are admitting to doxing this person. Now, doxing doesn't necessarily have to be private information that you have now leaked to the public. It can also, I think doxing, I'm pretty sure, and you can look up the definition of doxing. Doxing still includes that it can still be information that may or may not be, like, in the public eye, at least obscurely in the public eye, that you would then signal boost more people to go to and to find. Right? That still can be considered like a form of doxing. Now, obviously, if it's, like, really, really public, it would depend if some of this information was in, like, the bio or something, but I don't know. It sounds to me like you definitely doxed them. I don't know.
Possible associates. All of those things were on his public Facebook profile. The things that I did give in the video that were not public information, I got off of Google, not because I used to be a bounty hunter. That information was the last 4 digits of his phone number and the name of the street that he was last listed at residing at. Now, I took that video down shortly after because his family reached out and asked me to do so. Afterwards, that same individual messaged me and attempted to blackmail me for followers, to which I ignored.
How does that even work? Blackmail you for followers? Like, what? They say, hey, if you don't do this for me, I want, like... What was the blackmail information? How does that make sense? Like, what did they have on you?
Now, a large group of people on the internet decided this was enough of a justification to dox my entire life. So photos of my home, address, legal documents, birth certificate, all ended up on the internet.
Ah, damn. Well, I mean, that's not good. Probably shouldn't do that. But also, I just, like, you quickly glossed over them having blackmail on you. What was the information of blackmailing you for follow? That's so weird. Why did you quickly gloss over that?
Now, most of this started as in response to the ICE video that I made, and whenever that video went live, I did start getting death threats.
Okay, what's your take on... I've made my take on ICE pretty clear. Like, ICE at this point is like a domestic terrorist organization that's being utilized by the Trump administration to do his personal bidding. One of the main reasons, I would say, is to distract from the fact that Trump was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for over 10 years. But another reason is the fact that, like, Trump is also trying to deport tons of people that may or may not be illegal immigrants without due process. You're not going to know if they're illegal immigrants without utilizing due process. And they're also murdering people who aren't even illegal immigrants in our country. That's, I would say, a pretty big issue, all things considered.
And I've gotten death threats before, so I handled it the same way I did last time, where I called in a watch order on my home. Usually it's just internet trolls. When I called in that watch order, I was in the airport about to step on the plane to go to New York for a charity organization. Once I landed in New York, this whole thing went sideways, and I spent the following 3 days trying to get home in the snow and the ice. During that time, Rise dropped...
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get for traveling to New York during a snowstorm, I suppose.
...me as an athlete, and I'm not mad at them. As a business owner myself, I understand. After it happened, I had a conversation with the CEO, and we ended it on good terms. By the time I got home, that non-emergency call that I made to my local police department had also been released. From that audio getting released, a lot of people were like, wow, he abandoned his children. They were in an Airbnb with an army friend of mine, just in case. And again,
I haven't even heard of these allegations. Like, again, like, I'm sure maybe these allegations, like, exist to some capacity, but I haven't even heard this portion of it in the original coverage that I watched of it. So I am a little bit confused as to how, like, where this came from. Maybe I'm just so, like, far behind when it comes to the ScottyKFitness lore, but I don't know.
and I had handled death threats before. It's not uncommon on the internet. Now, this is when
Sure, I guess.
things really started to spiral out of control. People started throwing around allegations, and what they're referring to is that 9 years ago, in my previous marriage, I had an affair with a woman who had previously been dating a cop.
So just to be clear, that's not all of the SA allegations or sexual assault allegations. One of the other ones is you allegedly grabbing a girl by the head in the college that you worked on. Assumingly it's a student, tried to force her head down onto your crotch. Those are allegations that I would say are probably the most damning out of everything that I've heard so far. Maybe there's another separate allegation that the Maury, who's the video creator we reacted to, didn't go over. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out, like, piece by piece. And so maybe this is, like, something else he's responding to. But I feel like if you're not going to respond to the other, like, college stuff, then that's pretty telling within itself. But then again, we have 14 minutes left in this response, so we have plenty of time.
Just broke up. I had 3 consensual sexual encounters with this woman, once in her new apartment when I helped her move.
Well, not for nothing, but, like, you, admitted to, according to the leaked documents we saw, you admitted to cheating on your wife 35 times and you bragged about it. I don't know, dude. That sounds to me like you might be a bit of a gooner womanizer. I don't know, which is fine, by the way. I don't really care too much about cheating allegations. Like, again, you deal with it privately. But it is a shitty thing to do. I think cheating is a very gross and shitty thing to do. Do I care necessarily? Do I think it's cancel-worthy? Do I think you need to ruin your career over it? No. Considering the fact that you have other allegations that I care more about in this entire thing. So, I don't know. I feel like I think it, at the very least, communicates the kind of person that ScottyKFitness is. Like, if you have to cheat on your wife 35 times... So it definitely tells us he's a bit of a gooner. I don't know. And definitely not somebody who's mature enough for a marriage, at the very least.
Once at my home while my wife was at work. I was a bad husband. And the third at a part-time job an hour outside.
I mean, yeah, you're a bad husband, but you also bragged about the shitty behavior that you did. So I don't know, dude. How genuine is this?
Out of town when I was working security at a construction yard as an off-duty law enforcement officer. Afterwards, she told me that she still loved her ex-boyfriend, that she was going to get back with him and tell him that we had slept together. The day after that happened, I was asked to leave the department. I was fired, which makes...
That's... What? Dude, what the fuck is happening?
Sense because it's a cardinal sin to sleep with another cop's girl. Again, I sucked.
Oh, well, this was 9 years... Okay. If this was, like, 9 years ago, then this would have been in, like, 2015 or something. The actual, like, SA claims, or the sexual assault claims themselves would be during 2020, at the very least, during, like, COVID.
Not just because of that, but because I was 22 years old and lacked the critical thinking skills that it takes to be a good police officer. I drove up...
Okay. I mean, you are a legal adult, so I don't know, dude. I mean, like, obviously that is a... Like, I would say 22 years old, you are still young in the police. Like, obviously he is a legal adult, so it's time to start putting on your big boy pants and actually thinking about shit around you. But, like, yes, 22 years old is a pretty young age to be a police officer. Not that I think that makes some of the, like, shitty behavior okay, but, like, again, he's claiming that he's responding to SA claims, but he's not talking about the allegations that I care about the most. It is, I don't know if he's going to get into it later, but, like, whatever.
130 miles an hour everywhere I went because, again, 22 years old and I had a cop car. If I got into pursuits or aided other departments in pursuits, I would cut off other cops to try to be a fucking hero. I would drive 70 miles an hour down dirt roads. At one point, I actually ran a person off the road and didn't even realize it until 3 hours later when he called the department and was gunning for my badge. I got written up all the time for these things.
That's sounds to me like you're admitting that you got written up all the time. It sounds to me like you're just kind of an immature person. Like, at the very least, like, 22, yeah, you're still young, but I feel like you should be at least attempting to, like, put some effort into doing better at your fucking job. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not a police officer. I don't know the ins and outs of what it takes to be a police officer. But I know I would at the very least be trying to do the right thing when it comes to doing my fucking job properly. And it sounds to me like you weren't, like, based off of what you are telling us, it sounds like you weren't even, like, attempting to do your job properly. What the fuck are you talking about?
So it made sense that that was their final straw. Now I moved down to Texas and I became a bail enforcement agent. A lot of people are saying that that's false. I was sitting in the office one day, learning how to do my job, and my boss came in and handed me 2 certification cards. One was for private investigating, one was for bail enforcement agent. And I said, "Sir, I didn't take these exams. How did I get these?" And he said, "Stop asking questions, son." So I did, because I wanted to keep my job. After a while working there, I heard through the grapevine that the woman I had an affair with was alleging sex. And as you can imagine, my heart fell into my stomach. But as somebody with a background in law enforcement, albeit brief, I knew that if she had made those allegations and made a report, that there would be an investigation and that we would get through that. And because it didn't happen, I wasn't worried about it. But there was...
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess from, like, a legal standpoint. But I feel like if you were, I don't know, if I was accused of sexual assault, I would be doing everything in my power to be like, yeah, this is completely not true. And, like, debunk it point by point by doing, like, all these, like, other things. Like, I don't know, man. Sounds to me like this guy just is so unbelievably just, like, immature. Even, like, going older, like when he got his, like, new job at the university, which would have been like 5 years after the events of what he's telling us, which could be, like, real or could be fake for all we know. And, like, I just don't know. Like, I don't really understand, like, why he's starting with these claims, because I don't even know if I remember hearing these claims. Maybe someone could if somebody is more educated on ScottyKFitness, maybe someone could let me know if, like, these were legitimate allegations or if he's just, like, fucking, like, trying to filibuster talking from, like, the more important stuff. I don't know.
Never such an investigation nor report. So I moved on with my life. Now, I did this bail enforcement job for a few months, and then I went to Afghanistan. I've seen a lot of rumors going around that somehow I'm stolen valor, that I spent 11 years in the Oklahoma Army National Guard and I never deployed. Well, that's true. I never deployed with the Oklahoma Army National Guard. I deployed with a company called Triple Canopy. And here's a video of me in Kabul. And a screenshot with a geolocation on it. My job title in Afghanistan was Armed Guard Level 2. I was a gate guard, entry control point, ECP, and sometimes I was in machine gun towers, and those were even cardboarded up. Glorified security guard. Then there's allegations.
Okay, I guess. I'm just, like, not really too concerned with that part of it, I guess.
From an ex-girlfriend who was a BJJ coach, stating that I held her down by her neck and threatened to take her life.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember this part. This was from, like, I believe, was it, like, a martial arts, like, coach or whatever, and she, like, alleged that? Yeah, that's another thing. I do forget. Again, you have to remember, I'm recording these in, like, 2 separate intervals. Like, I recorded, like, one half of this video last night, and then the next morning I recorded this video. So I do remember that this was, like, an important allegation. So, yeah, this is something I would care about.
That never happened. And again...
Okay, so you're just denying it outright, that it never happened, that you never strangled somebody. I don't know how much I believe that. How did it never happen?
I have no evidence against it because there's no evidence for it.
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to get evidence for it because it was a physical interaction that she wouldn't think to record because it was so unexpected. That makes sense. Like, are we just, like, using plausible deniability language to get rid of that entirely?
That person also alleged that I abused my children. I don't even spank my kids. Furthermore, when I started my divorce after I got home from Afghanistan, my ex-wife alleged. Now again, as somebody with a background in law enforcement, and obviously as somebody who doesn't do that shit, I wasn't worried. After 2 days of waiting...
I wasn't what?
So any code.
I mean, he's not worried from like a legal standpoint, but I still feel like if you had allegations levied against you, you would take it seriously enough to be like, yeah, no, this is completely false. Like, it feels like... Here's the vibe that I'm getting from this response video so far. It seems like he is kind of relying on plausible deniability language to do some heavy lifting on him. And he seems to be pretty good at plausible deniability language as well. Like, some people could even look at this and go, oh, wow, he's actually... Like, maybe he's telling the truth because law enforcement may not find anything. Just because law enforcement doesn't find anything doesn't necessarily mean you didn't do it. Like, did you do it or not? Like, obviously you're saying that the choking never happened. You're denying it. I'm trying really hard to, like, pit this together. Like, this guy seems like a massive fucking gooner, at the very least. Like... And I don't know, man. Like, some of the comments he's made is very inappropriate. Like, obviously, this guy's a very immature person. And if he's going to be very immature regarding some of the other positions he has, like with his, like, security guard job, and he's, like, making inappropriate comments or whatever, like, this guy definitely has, like, a very rough, I guess, consensus of what boundaries are. And if he's going to have a rough consensus of that, I don't know, dude. Like, it sounds to me, if your ex-wife is accusing you, if a college student is accusing you, and if a coach at, like, this National Guard place, this, like, martial arts coach is accusing you, if 3 different people are accusing you that are completely unrelated, I don't know, dude. It kind of gets to a point where the allegations might have a little more credibility than you do.
Coaching from my ex-wife could be nullified. They put the children through an exam, and all of those claims were unfounded. Yet, against my ex-wife, there were unallegated yet substantiated claims of abuse, neglect, endangerment, threat of physical violence, and refusal of medical care. That's how I have custody of my kids. And for quite some time, I was a single father.
I mean, that might be potentially true. I don't know. I don't know if that is entirely true, but maybe it's true that his ex-wife's fucking crazy. I don't know.
Trying to make it. So, sometimes my kids miss bath night. Most nights, they ate microwavable chicken nuggets and goldfish. And for breakfast, it was fucking yogurt. Moving on to the Tulsa Community College controversy.
Okay, here we go. So this is like, there was another sexual assault allegation here. There was a lot of, like, inappropriate comments being made here. So I am going to do my best to pay as close attention to this as possible.
I was a police officer at the Metro campus of the Tulsa Community College.
You were a security guard. I don't know if there's that. I don't know. We're playing fucking semantics at this point. Whatever. Obviously. Okay, anyway.
Now, some of the allegations I'm seeing from that is that I talked about blowjobs in the squad room with...
Yeah, that was according to some of the leaked documents that we saw.
...other cops. That's probably true. Cops do that.
It's probably true. I feel like when you say probably true, that leads me to believe that... So, just to be clear, what I gather from him saying probably true is that at the very least he definitely was having locker room talk, which is fine, but, like, if he's saying probably, that implies that he's done it a lot, because he can't remember, like, a one out of many times that he's done it. You get what I'm saying? Like, if he's saying that's probably true, I can't remember which specific instance of it, that's kind of what I take away from what he just said there. Again, this kind of proves that he's massively immature.
That I joked about making an OnlyFans. I made that joke 3 weeks ago, too, and on various live streams.
I guess, but I mean, if you're on the job, you might want to maintain a little bit of decorum, no?
Another one of the allegations from that is that I looked up a student on Facebook because she was attractive. I was 25 at a college. That was a college-age student.
So that might be true, but also, like, you are a security guard at the end of the day. If a security guard is trying to look up their students and be creepy to their students, that shows a level of unprofessionalism. Again, I can see why the college would look at that and go, yeah, this guy probably shouldn't be working for us. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That probably happened.
All right, he's just admitting to, at the bare minimum, some level of inappropriate behavior. Like, that is... Like, the only reason it's inappropriate is not because of the age. No one was talking about, like, the potentially, like, underage people. That wasn't part of the allegation. What was part of the allegation was you being inappropriate, and then some level of sexual assault allegation with one of them, where you grab the head of somebody and then push them down onto your crotch. That's the part that I care about the most. That would be, like, some level of predatory behavior, at the very least, because it was non-consensual. And not only that, again, the whole scenario is inappropriate because you're supposed to be a security guard at a college and you're supposed to maintain a massive amount of professionalism. That's what makes this whole scenario very inappropriate.
And then in that report, it also states that I bragged about cheating on my wife 35 times. 35 is a really weird number.
Yeah. And did you do it that many times?
What happened there is that there was another police officer going through a divorce because his wife cheated. And so I was trying to build a rapport with him, telling him I was going through the same thing, that my wife cheated on me, so I cheated on her, and we went back and forth in this super duper toxic relationship. Now, just short of a week before...
Does he not deny... What? 35 is like a weird number, and then he just never denies it? He's just like, oh, by the way, guys, 35 is a very weird number. But then I exchanged a conversation with somebody back and forth about us being shitty partners to each other. And, like, I'm cheating on her, she's cheating on me, we're cheating on each other, all this, blah, 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 blah. Granted, like, the cheating allegation is kind of like peanuts compared to, like, some of the other allegations you're being accused of right now. But still, like, I think you are... Like, it just seems like he has, like, a weird pattern of behavior of just, like, glossing over details and then pretending as if he gave, like, a sufficient response to the allegations. But it doesn't really prove anything when you actually listen to what he's saying.
I was questioned about those ridiculous claims. I actually filed an HR complaint against my captain and my lieutenant, where it states that I fear retaliation from them. And I found that report, and it's right here. Please pause to read.
Okay, I would like to start this narrative by stating that I do not believe that the TCC Police Department is inherently a bad place to work. However, during my time at Metro Campus under the supervision of Lieutenant Blank and Captain Blank, I found myself in a toxic, unhealthy, awkward, and unbearable work environment. As I come into work, I barely speak to my teammates in the Metro Campus as a result of this feeling. I am treated differently as an outcast or unequal. My police officer counterparts do not respect nor speak to me for the reasons I do not know. Probably because you are insanely fucking weird and creepy and you're a bit of a goon or you make, like, inappropriate comments. I would imagine if that's what you're known for and that's what your reputation is, that is probably, like, a very good reason to be like, yeah, I kind of don't want to talk to this guy. Like, even though we locker room talk all the time, this guy takes it too much. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like when you're showing us this report, in a weird way, he's kind of incriminating himself. Is he not? I can't, like... I don't know. I feel like I'm not going crazy when I think this. I have asked Lieutenant Blank and Captain Blank on more than one occasion specifically if there was anything I could be doing to better meet the standards of my position on the team. Each time I have posed this question, I have been offered no answer besides "you're doing great," yet I continue to be treated negatively on a daily basis. On multiple occasions, I've been talked down to by Lieutenant Blank, and I have Lieutenant Blank speaking about me negatively and derogatorily to someone on the phone with her office door shut when she thought that no one could hear. I have heard Captain Blank speak to Lieutenant Blank in his office, saying that such things as he's a square peg in a round hole continue to write down all issues that way when and if he goes to the chief's office and I can't read some of this because the fucking TikTok pause is in the way. Blah 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 blah. Metro campus, island of all the other campuses fall into, and I give a shit. I mean, it sounds to me like, based off of what I can read, it sounds to me like some of his, like, peers just talk shit about the stuff that's on the campus and they kind of just don't like working their job. A lot of security guards tend to not like working their job anyways. Like, it's kind of miserable. A lot of them just tend to stand there and do nothing most of the time because they don't really, in most cases, the security guards don't really need to do anything because nothing really happens to begin with. But obviously that, like, small percent chance that they do need to do something and step in for something is when they do need to do something. Yeah, right. But again, it sounds to me like they all really just hated working with this guy because he was just such a big fucking gooner and he constantly talked about his sex life. These things that I have heard, coupled with no advice on how to improve as a Metro officer, has led to me to feel trapped and voiceless. Anything I say is perceived as negative. Anytime I have a family emergency or military obligation orders, I receive backlash from Lieutenant Blank as well. I have asked Lieutenant Blank in her office personally how to fix the issue between her and I, and nothing has changed. Shortly after starting at Metro Campus, I was assigned to the airport post on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. This was an impossibility due to my availability as a single father of 2 daughters full-time, which was disclosed, discussed, and understood upon my hiring. Yet, I still made the sacrifice for the department, asking friends to pick my children up for daycare and keeping them until 9:30 p.m., only to see them the next morning as I dropped them off at daycare again. I kept this as hectic and impossible schedule up for 6 weeks until it became unbearable, and I asked Lieutenant to help change me to the airport post on Fridays. That way I could still take care of my children. On 2 separate occasions, she told me, you'll just have to figure this out. I don't know. Like, this shows that he filed, like, some level of complaint, but it shows he doesn't have any self-awareness of why he's the issue. So really, like, he showed us, like, all this proof for stuff, but it doesn't actually prove anything. Like, if anything, it makes me believe that he's more of an irresponsible and immature person talking about, like, sexual topics on the fucking job, like, all the time. Like, it's one thing if it's just, like, locker room talk occasionally, but it seems like the way you did it was, like, very unprofessional and excessive. Oh god, do I have to read more of these? I don't know. I'm not reading this. This is a lot to read. Okay, fine.
After I sent in that...
Like, because here's the thing, right? I don't think reading the next 2 is going to necessarily change the context of what happened, because he doesn't understand why people don't want to associate with him. But after reading the other, like, papers, it's pretty fucking clear to me why people don't want to talk to him. So I doubt that the other 2 pages are going to change much of the context based off of what I'm hearing from his own narrative.
HR complaint, I stayed home. I didn't go back to work. And when I didn't reach a resolve, I took all of my police gear and put it in a cardboard box and took it up to headquarters. I turned it into the police chief and said, I quit. And he said, whoa, son, don't make any rash decisions. Give me a few days to look into this. And I said, okay, sir, I respect that. And I put it back in my car and I started driving home. And then I received a call and they asked me to go to the TCC West campus to talk to somebody. I thought I was going to talk about the HR complaint. And when I sat down and they started asking me questions about inappropriate comments, I was flabbergasted. I asked them if there were reports of these things and they said, yeah. And they had previously done this to a separate police officer. So I said, no, fuck it. I quit. I was going to quit 20 minutes ago. Come get...
That makes no sense to me. I'm sorry. That makes no fucking sense to me. I'm sorry, if I was in the position that he was in, and, like, you go to an HR department, or, like, whoever the fuck he was going to talk about, like, potential inappropriate behavior, and your first thing is, I quit, after you're introduced some questions regarding potential inappropriate behavior, you don't even make an effort to deny these claims? No. That's fucking crazy to me. Like, there is not a person... I cannot think of a single reason you would do it. Get the fuck out of here. I do not believe this for a second. He knew he was guilty, and he's trying to make it seem like he's coming at this with the tone that he's, like, innocent, but you know damn well he was making some inappropriate behavior. I do not fucking buy it for a second. This is absolute bullshit.
Get your shit out of my car. And I left.
No, this is bullshit. I don't buy it.
And some people are saying, is this why you take jobs like this, so that you can... people and then quit during the investigation so you don't get charged? That's not how crime works. And past that, people...
It's not how crime works, but at the very least it shows that you were, like, not even willing to fight these claims whatsoever. You should have absolutely, like, been like, no, that's not true at all. Like, why didn't you just trust the process and go through it and deny it if you truly were innocent?
People are saying he changed his name to run away from these things. Also, not a thing. I publicly stated and stand by the fact that I changed my name because my parents suck. And I didn't want to get married to my wife and give her that last name.
Doubt that, but okay.
I want to address the fact that I sucked in the military, and I've told you all that. The first contract I had was 6 years long in the Oklahoma Army National Guard as an infantryman, and I was a specialist the entire time.
This guy's being, like, very dishonest in his entire response. Like, he's relying on plausible deniability language, and he's, like, intentionality trolling. And what I mean by that is he will say one thing and try to make it seem like his intentions are in one direction. Like, with the whole, like, firing thing, right? Which I don't believe for a second. He's like, nah, I quit my job after you levied these allegations. I'm not going to tolerate this against me. He's trying to make it seem like the intentionality and the implication is that he's innocent. But if you truly were innocent, you wouldn't quit from a job. You would do everything to fight those allegations that you can and be like, no, this is not true at all. And, like, try to prove it in every way imaginable. That, you quitting kind of communicates to me that you were guilty of some of the inappropriate behavior you're accused of. By the way, can I just say, he never once talked about, like, grabbing a girl by the head and pushing it onto his crotch at all. He never once talked about that as, like, a college allegation whatsoever. I wonder why. I don't know. I think that's interesting that he, like, glossed over that.
As a matter of fact, I was a specialist the entire time I was in the Army, and that's embarrassing, because it was 11 fucking years.
I feel like this response is kind of embarrassing for you. I don't know.
First contract, I was fat. I've told you all this. I faked a back injury so I wouldn't have to do a PT test because I wasn't going to fucking pass one. I lacked the self-respect to hold myself accountable. After I got home from Afghanistan, I decided to re-enlist because they were offering $15,000 for a 3-year contract. Unheard of at the time. So I took it because I was fucking poor. But at that time, I was a single dad. I couldn't afford
kind of don't really care about any of this, not gonna lie.
childcare long enough to go to basic leadership school to pick up sergeant or E5, even though I was in a team leader position. And even if I was in a relationship, that woman was not willing to watch my kids for up to 3 weeks for that basic leadership school. So after the 3-year contract, I re-signed a 1-year extension to go and become a medic. I had to retake my ASVAB because my first score was 34. I was a fucking 17-year-old kid. But since I had my EMT certification at this time, I decided I'm gonna go be a medic because they promised me it was an E5 slot. And I put a lot of value in that promotion. And I got to the new unit and asked them, hey, when am I picking up my 5s? And they said, oh, this is an E4 slot. And that sucked. So I crashed out and I went to RSU to do the Green to Gold program, which is going from enlisted to officer. And I did almost an entire semester with that until the NCOIC, or the non-commissioned officer in charge, called me and told me that I didn't have a GI Bill anymore.
I don't care. Like, you're an immature kid. Okay, whatever. Who cares? I don't really care about any of this. Like, you glossed over some of the other allegations, and now you're talking about a bunch of shit that's not even relevant.
Because I took a longer than 12-month break in service between my first and second contract without a religious exemption that had to be predetermined. So I dropped a hardship packet and separated. And I am embarrassed about my time in the military because I sucked. Some people are saying that I faked my burn injuries. Nope. Trigger warning. I'm about to show you photos. It's fucking gross.
Okay, just censor this.
Also, here's the city of Tulsa paying me a disability claim for those burns.
Okay, I mean, it seems like they might have. I don't fucking know. Again, like, again, the allegations that I care about are more severe than all, like, this random shit that he's talking about. Is there any, like, other point that he, like, talks about? I'm gonna just, like, skim through this. There might be some other stuff that's worth watching here. I mean, we have 5 minutes left. We might as well try to get through it because it's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like none of this really matters, but I should probably just watch the entire thing if I'm going to at least attempt to engage with this in good faith.
For those burns. And my knee surgery. As a
cool, I guess.
Struggling poor father of 2, I actually did make an OnlyFans one time.
Okay. I guess do what you gotta do.
And it failed embarrassingly. I made $22 and never cashed it out because, again, it was embarrassing. Then I took a construction job and got laid off, and then took a job working as a school resource officer. About 3 months into that, a school administrator pulled me into his office and said, do you have a fucking OnlyFans? To which I replied with, oh, I resign. That's weird. That means you have seen my junk. And they tried to talk me out of it. That's when
very immature way to deal with that, I guess. You're like, oh, no, you had to take time to look at my OnlyFans anyways to a fucking employer.
I went to EMT school.
This guy is so immature. Like, I just like watching the way he talks, just watching the way he like speaks about everything. Like, he like throughout his entire life, he has just handled things so immaturely. He really doesn't do himself any favors. For all we know, these allegations could be false, but he certainly doesn't do himself any fucking favors, and I'm certainly not inclined to believe any, because it seems like he is intentionally trying to be like, oh, like, I quit the fucking job because they started accusing me of sexual assault, which is very stupid, because if they were actually accusing you of that, you would want to do everything in your power to fight these claims as much as possible.
Since this smear
If you were truly innocent, that is.
Campaign has happened, I've had a lot of friends turn against me, and I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to throw dirt. I understand why they did it. And I still have love for those people, but they'll never hold a place in my life again. People have been attacking my coaching business, stating that I'm V-Shred 2.0. Let's address that elephant. V-Shred made a video. Holy fuck, Vince, that was funny. I've got to give that to you. But some of the claims saying that people sign up for my coaching and never hear from me. When a client signs up for coaching with Faultline Fitness, they are assigned a coach. I've been very open about that. There is no possible way that I can coach every single client at the price point that they pay.
Isn't that kind of deceptive, though? Like, shouldn't they know about the price that they can pay beforehand? I feel like that could be a little bit deceptive.
And I don't want to charge a fuck ton of money for online coaching. And when I introduce...
Yeah, okay, but you should still make the price known beforehand, right? Am I not understanding this correctly?
These clients to their coach, every single video tells them that they can reach out to me at any time because I am here with them every step of the way. Here's a compilation. Just want to say hi. Let your coach know, and I'll make time. Ask your coach, and we'll make time. I can shoot you a phone call. I hate ghost coaching. Hate it. I am here every step of the way. We'll come and chat with you. I'm always available, and I'm still here. Fault
Okay, I mean, as long as proper boundaries are put in place, that's fine, but the pricing, I could see why maybe people feel cheated out if there wasn't, like, a pricing listed beforehand and then you negotiate. I don't know, man. There's something very weird about that. It depends on how it's done. Truthfully, I'm not entirely educated on it, so I don't want to have, like, a flat-out take and be like, yeah, that's the final take, but it's still very, like, I'm kind of like, I just fail to understand that. Then again, I don't really pay for coaching because I don't necessarily need it.
Fitness is not just me. I have been very open about that, and I've even posted that I'm hiring coaches multiple times.
Okay.
Because to make a larger impact, we have to have more people. And people...
I mean, yeah. Like, having multiple people for your coaching thing makes sense because, like, if you have a lot of people that are willing to pay for it, that makes sense because you can't get to every single person, obviously. Okay, fine. But, like, I don't know if that was necessarily the issue.
Who are way smarter than me. Some people have come out and slammed me and my wife for having a...
Your ex-wife?
Wedding registry that was public.
Unless she has, like, a new wife or something that I'm not aware of.
A lot of people in the community wanted to buy us gifts and shower us because we were having a wedding. And my house is cluttered enough, so we decided to do a wedding registry where they could donate to our honeymoon fund, and any money we weren't going to use was going to go to charity. And here are the receipts for that.
Okay. Sounds like he donated some money to charity. Good stuff, I suppose. All right, fine.
My wife was also slammed because people in our Discord community have requested to crowdfund things in the past, and we allowed them to do that. And that I have a P.O. Box series where people send me things that I unbox on camera as a part of community connection. And I'm not ashamed of that. Now, I have friends who have been verbally attacked, bombarded with messages and comments because they're associated with me. My coaches have seen the brunt of it. My support team. That's just not fair. I've heard people upset that I make content with my brother Wesley and that I state that I'm his full-time caregiver, but I travel a lot. I do, and we have a support system for Wesley. He can live on his own, and now he can make a grilled cheese because I taught him. And he can grocery shop on his own, but he can't drive.
Is his brother Wesley, like, in the IDD community? Does he have, like, an intellectual and developmental disability or something like that? Is that why he, like, struggles with normal day-to-day things? I don't know the full context of this. I don't know the full context of a majority of this except the serious allegations, which he seems to heavily gloss over massively.
He's not really good at cleaning his apartment, but he wants to be independent. And he's been on food stamps his entire life, and he asked me not to take that from him. He is dependent upon me and the support system that we have for him. Just because he doesn't fit the exact frame of what you believe a disabled person is does not mean that he is not disabled. Did my wife sell my feet pics on Discord for $5? Yeah, because it was funny, and it was posted in the general chat.
Okay. Again, this guy is very immature. This guy's so fucking immature.
There were people on the internet gunning for my mustache, saying things like, I'm not gonna stop till he shaves, which is really weird. That's like saying, I'm not gonna stop harassing this guy until he trims his fucking toenails. You guys are dorks.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think it was that deep. I feel like people were just making fun of you for the really bad mustache that you have because it makes you look kind of silly. But at the end of the day, I don't really think it's that fucking deep.
I shaved my mustache a week and a half ago.
Cool. I mean, I noticed that.
I'm done wearing the costume that I felt like I had to wear to stay relevant with these platforms.
I mean, everybody puts on a persona for big platforms to some capacity, especially if they're trying to play up to optics, but it feels like you were trying to move past some serious allegations, which you didn't really prove wrong necessarily with your narrative, and again, like, some of it is, like, very faulty. I'm not exactly inclined to believe you.
I couldn't drink coffee out of a fucking cup. It was a pain in the ass. I have sucked at every single thing I've done in my life.
Yeah, no shit.
I have gone into jobs incredibly cocky, thinking that I was God's gift to whatever position I was in. The Dunning-Kruger effect in full swing. And I struggled to fit in everywhere. The baseline that I was trying to be better than was my family, which was homeless drug addicts who never reformed. Now, I don't make the mental health content that I make because I'm higher and mightier and holier than now. I make that content because I've learned really hard lessons. And wisdom comes from being in really hard positions in your life, and that rarely happens to people who are fucking awesome all the time. I was not...
I guess. I don't fucking know. I feel like some of it is a little bit performative, but okay.
a nice person. And sometimes I'm not a good friend. And sometimes I'm not a good dad. Or a good boss.
Beautiful, man. My cock's so hard listening to this.
But I'm human.
It's a beautiful thing, bro.
And I learn. And I change and I grow. And that's not something I'm going to apologize
God, I'm so fucking erect listening to this.
for. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you
I am coming from something now.
were, or what you've done in your past. People are allowed to change and become better. Whether you were a womanizer, an asshole, a bad husband.
Well, I mean, yeah, you are. You are at the very least a womanizer, for sure. I don't think womanizing is, like, a cancel-worthy thing, but it seemed like it went beyond that, and you haven't fully addressed those. And we're only 8 seconds left in this video, so I don't know, dude. I'm not saying it doesn't really look good for you, I'll say that.
A shitty soldier, a failed first responder. You have a place in this world. You're allowed to be better. Thank you. Okay, let's...
Alright, well, that was, fucking doozy. Wow.